I'm the Director of Urban Ag and Gardening Education for the Center for Urban Agriculture and Gardening Education at the University of the District of Columbia. The Center for Urban Agriculture was started in around 2013. And the effects of that was, and the purpose of that was to address some of the food and nutritional security issues in urban areas, specifically Washington, D.C. The Center for Urban Agriculture and Gardening Education created a concept of food hubs. These food hubs are located in different parts of the city, and they specifically address certain things such as waste reduction, food processing, food distribution, and the growing of crops, either in soil or soilless, such as aquaponics and hydroponics. The food hub concept is like a wheel, and the UDC farm where we're at today is the hub of that wheel. We have other food hub sites in the city. We have a 40,000 square foot green roof on campus, which produces food for our student food pantry. We have a urban agricultural site in Northeast Washington, D.C., which has basically community garden there. At the Bacchus site, we have aquaponics and hydroponics and a community garden. And at the PR site, PR Harris site in Greater Southeast Washington, we have aquaponics, hydroponics, and also a small urban garden there. There are certain degrees that you can get which are related to what we do here at the farm. There's an architecture degree, there's nursing and dietetics, and also there's a nursing degree. There also is a Master's of Professional Science in Urban Agriculture, which you can get from the University of the District of Columbia. What students often do is that they combine those studies with things we do here at the farm because everything is connected. You just need to find the connectivity of those things.
I'm Nazirak Amin with Purple Mountain Organics, owner, operator. We are a custom farm operation and we work in many different capacities here. This project here is a production project in which we are growing food for pantries in DC that is distributed through UDC causes. So places like Martha's Table, Bread for the City, DC Central Kitchen, we're growing vegetables for them. So we practice regenerative farming methods. So I guess there's a gradient of techniques that we use. Small-scale agriculture that we use, but we've done projects with UDC like research on rice, where we've used biodegradable mulches or biodegradable plastic made of corn and cassava, things like that. The goal of our farming is really, the intent is to help bring the soil back to life so that the life in the soil supports life in human beings. So I'm a naturopathic doctor and an acupuncturist, and I've been practicing in the area for 22 years now. And so why I think this is important, one is for personal health. I think people should have a relationship with the food that they eat. So Purple Mountain Organics was founded under sort of the premise of helping our communities be more sustainable with healthier people in the community. So the idea is to get the most nutrient-dense food grown in the healthiest ways possible and help teach people how to basically replicate different methods in which they can grow this healthy food. The dryland rice production that we do was based upon, one, the concept of, in regenerative farming, there's the idea of carbon farming, which is growing things like grains, different sort of crops that have a lot of carbon, and then you're turning that back into the ground. And so, which then helps to regenerate all of the microbes and the life in the soil. So as a natural part of that, we got into like grain farming. So rice is one of the most, I think it's the third most eaten grain in the world, and it's probably the most eaten grain by people of color around the world. So we sort of thought that it would be nice to show people how to actually, like, people think of rice and they think of patties. But when we talk about rice and patties, patty rice is actually one of the most methane producing ventures that there is. Paddy rice actually creates more methane than cattle farming does. So part of the idea of the dryland rice was to help. There's what's called SRI, which is System of Rice Intensification, which is a system of growing rice used by indigenous farmers around the world to help them save water and reduce methane, which is a gas that contributes to global warming. So the rice production that we do is really to help minimize that, and to also, the other issue that we have with rice here in America is that most of the rice grown is full of arsenic and other heavy metals. So the rice production that we do, there's no heavy metals involved. So we're using a method that produces nice, whole, healthy rice grown locally. And the other thing about rice is eating rice fresh. Like, a lot of people know how they think rice tastes, but most of us buy rice that's been sitting on the shelf for 3 months or 6 months or sometimes even a year. We don't know when it was hulled. And so in the process that we do, we try to provide rice that was just hulled like right before the person ate the rice. So it's a completely different experience, and the nutrients available at that time are the highest that you can get for a plate of rice. So and you know, the beauty of what we're doing here is we've used this platform to help teach local farmers, organic farmers and sustainable farmers, how to incorporate grains, especially grains and beans, into their production model, because most farmers are vegetable farmers. So we've been helping vegetable farmers include these more carbon producing plants in their rotations of crop rotations. Most vegetable farmers grow grains as a cover crop, and now we're teaching them that the cover crop can be a food as well.
So everything that we grow here on the farm is donated to different organizations throughout the district, including Bread for the City, DC Central Kitchen, and smaller ones too, like Jones Memorial Church. And the things that we donate here consist of, anything from leafy greens, strawberries, to different types of squash or melons, all depending on the season. Professors can work with me in terms of collaborating and working on different research projects. If they wanted to compare, let's say, soilless growing with traditional agriculture. And there's also potential to bring their students or their classroom out here to engage and get involved with what we have going on out here. This project benefits the DC community by offering a space for them to come learn and further their education, as well as everything we grow here is donated to different organizations that help supply the district with fresh produce or pre-made meals.
This one is used as a spinach.
My title with UDC is Logistics and Research Assistant. I think you could grow plants that do not need a lot of pesticide application and a lot of fertilizer application. So hence I've decided to do this project, which includes some herbs and plants that are nourishing to the body. And then I'm demonstrating this edible fence because I think it is possible for anybody in an urban environment to do something like this. So I've selected many plants. This one here has many different names. In my country we call it Christophane. And it is a very nourishing plant. And also tied to this is bee colony, because bees have many interesting nutrients that will heal and nourish the body. There are many different products that you get from the colony, not just honey. You also get propolis. You could use the wax, and those things are very beneficial to the human body. And what I'm trying to do also, I'm trying to grow buckwheat. Instead of trying to feed the bees sugar in the winter, I'm trying to feed them so that they build enough food, that they have food to go through the winter without using sugar. Because I found out that even if you use sugar, and if you don't get rid of all of the food that was formed by the bees with the sugar, even if a tiny bit of sugar remains in the colony, then you still have problem with the honey crystallizing. So this is what I'm trying to do, to try to feed them naturally from nectar.
The degrees that you can get, which are related to the Center for Urban Ag and Gardening Education, are there is a degree in architecture, there is a degree in nursing, and there is a degree in nutrition and dietetics. So often what we do, students who enter those disciplines, they relate some of their research back to agriculture, because agriculture affects all three of those specific career paths. But there is a newly created professional Master of Science program where you can get a master's degree in urban agriculture from the UDC, and that incorporates what we do here at the farm and also at the food hubs. Unfortunately, we live in an agriculturally illiterate society, or farming illiterate society, because we are so many generations from the farm. It only takes one generation from farming to just forget about farming and not really understand and not be able to translate it to other people. Originally, for me, I did not grow up on a farm. I grew up in the city. I grew up in Washington, D.C., in Northeast Washington, D.C. My first career path actually was pharmacy. I was very interested in being a pharmacist and working in hospitals and giving out medications and things of that nature. But luckily, at some point in there, I started getting into health and trying to understand better about health, and maybe these medications that we were giving might not be the best answer to really solve the problems with health for people. So I really understood that, and I was able to get a job at the United States Department of Agriculture and really get an understanding of farming. And then going back to school to get my degree in agronomy at the University of Maryland College Park, I really began to understand the true pharmacy, the F-A-R-M-A-C-Y, where health really starts at the farm, not at the pharmacy, but at the farm level. What university professors can do when they come to the farm, there are all kind of educational opportunities here at this learning lab. There's geography, there's an English class here, there's art to be had at the farm. There are all these things in agriculture: mathematics, science, biology, microbiology, chemistry, physics. All these things are at the farm, are within the field of agriculture. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you here at the UDC Firebird Research Farm.